Hey there, Kevin Wright, back with another property finance tip. And this week we're looking at new investors and 5 tips that are a great starting point if you're new in property. So if that sounds good, keep watching. Okay, so this video is for you if you're just starting out with property investing and you're looking for some guidance to get you started. So I'm going to give 5 key tips of what to be focusing on. Hey, have you subscribed yet? Click that subscribe button down there and that dingy belly thing so you don't miss any of my videos when they're released, which is every week. Great, thanks. I almost forgot, Instagram. Click that button too, look, it's down there. Thanks. So let's kick straight off with the first of those 5 tips. Tip 1, do your research. Now what does this mean? It means finding the right property for the right use. Let me give you an example. Don't buy a holiday let property where people don't take holidays. So it's about ensuring there's a demand for the way you want to rent the property out. You can do more research by getting yourself along to one of the regular property networking meetings that are held throughout the UK. Now, some of them are still online, they haven't gone back to going in the room, but we're going gradually transitioning back to in the room meetings. So Google property network meetings and you can find out if there's one near you. Going back pre-COVID, there were roughly about 200 property meetings being held in the mainland UK every month, which means there's probably one within about 30 minutes of where you live or even closer. And they're mostly on Monday to Thursday evenings during the week. So it will be, for example, in your town, it could be the 3rd Thursday or the 1st Monday, and they'll be in the same location, run by the same people, month in, month out. That could be they're part of a bigger brand. There's a couple of multi-branch networking organisations, or it could be just someone in your area is doing an independent meeting. Doesn't really matter which, there'll be property people there who you can turn up, have a chat about property and be assured of a warm welcome. Now maybe you found that you started talking about what you want to be doing in property with people you know, whether it's people you work with, people you socialise with, or even your family. And if you found you haven't got an overwhelmingly positive response, well that's a pretty common experience. And in some ways, that's the real benefit of going to these property network meetings. There'll be people there just like you, in property or wanting to get in property. In fact, I call them an oasis of positivity in a desert of negativity. So certainly as part of your due diligence and fact finding, get along and find out more about what's going on in property in your local area by going to a property network meeting. Tip 2, understand your finances. Now, how to finance your property deals is fundamental to making them happen. No finance equals no property deal. So get clued up about the different ways to finance property. Clearly, there's buy-to-let mortgages and variants of that, HMOs and serviced accommodation mortgages, but mortgages are not the only way to finance a property. So get yourself genned up on other ways to finance property. Now, my channel has got an awful lot about bridging and to a lesser extent development finance. So watch some of my other videos to get more knowledgeable about alternative types of finance. But you'll also find some stuff that I've done about mortgages too. So make sure you gen up on finance, and I've given you a whole choice of videos to do that. If you're thinking about borrowing money privately to finance your deals, well that comes with a whole host of directives and regulations from the FCA. That's the Financial Conduct Authority, and they are looking to protect individual members of the public, retail customers in their words. So they've set out a whole host of directives that you have to abide by if you're looking to get private money to finance your property finance deals. So you need to check out the FCA's website to see exactly what those restrictions are, because you don't want to be inadvertently breaching those directives. Tip 3, choose the right solicitor. Now, there's a wide choice of solicitors. Now, it's not to say not all of them are good. They will all be pretty competent because they're qualified professionals, but are they attuned to people buying investment properties, or are they more attuned to people just buying their own main residences? And how quickly can they act and process? Some are quite content to let things meander along for weeks. So take a lot of care in choosing your solicitor and make sure it's one that you can work with time after time. If you're going to be using alternative types of funding like bridging or development, you need to be even more careful about your choice of solicitor because these are more complex conveyancing transactions, probably best handled by a commercial solicitor rather than a residential conveyancing solicitor. Tip 4, find your trades team. Now, if you're going to be doing tangible improvements to a property, which is usually a refurb, but I guess it could be a conversion too, then you need to have a bunch of guys in the trades that are reliable and do a good job. Because this is where your project could unwind, either because the work is not up to standard or it takes way longer than it should have done and costs a lot more than it should have done. And here's a big tip. Don't be going cheap on your tradesman. Good quality tradesman who's reliable, has a good quality of work, it's worth their weight in gold. Now, if you've heard the saying, anyone can do a poorer job and charge a little less, it's very true in the trades. Go by recommendation if you can. Find other people or investors that can back up whether this person does a good standard of work. Now, of course, don't be expecting a good tradesman to be available at the drop of a hat. Any decent tradesman is going to have several weeks of work booked up in advance. So you've got to program yourself in to their existing time frame. So structure your projects around when your good quality tradesman is available and book them in. Fifth and final tip, have a can-do positive attitude. If you're going to be investing in property, you're going to need this because it's not plain sailing all the way along. You will get challenges, you will get disappointments, and you need to stay positive enough to persevere and overcome those. Hey, have you subscribed yet? If not, click the button there. Oh, and that dingy belly thing there so you don't miss a new video every time I release one. Thank you. And follow me on Instagram too. There's the button down there. Thank you. So there we are, 5 tips to get you started in property investing. I'll be back next week with another property finance tip. See you then.
If you enjoyed watching this video, did you know every Monday morning at 8:30 I do a live Facebook Q&A. So if you want to start the week with checking out some answers to your property finance questions, click the link here.